That is crazy. I can't front. I forgot all about that.
The pass is great, but it's the steal. I mean, yeah.
This is the pre-step before everyone was shooting at half court. Does he hit another one?
With the ball in one hand, palm it, hold it to the side. Stop on the dime, pull up. Come on, man.
Why don't I remember this play?
Who was the one who coined the expression, somehow it seems the more I practice, the luckier I get? Like, that feels like a lucky play, but it's not lucky because it's Michael Jordan. If I did it, that would have been luck. I would have said, oh my goodness, he threw it right to me and I made this unbelievable shot. But with Michael Jordan, somehow it's not luck. With Michael Jordan, somehow it's because he's the greatest player that ever lived. And there was sort of a magnetic field that in a critical situation, someone is going to make a mistake and throw it to him.
As a basketball historian and as a lifer, that right there helped embody the greatness of MJ. So when you start talking about like who's the GOAT, him at his height, we hadn't seen someone be as dominant as this. This is crazy.
I like the celebration too. See, nowadays you would have 16 cameras on him, right? So you would have had the reaction on the floor, on the ground.
That was a walk-off, and then he went, this is amazing. I'm so mad at my 6 or 7-year-old self that I didn't see that game.
That's the type of things that you do when people say you're the greatest to ever do it. That's the black cat right there. That's how you learn that. That's how you earn that nickname.
In all honesty, I'm not sure Michael Jordan is allowed in the state of Utah at this point. If I were the state of Utah, I wouldn't allow him in. And this was the least of it.
Jordan always got the best of them. I was on the Jazz sideline for a lot of those. Man, let me tell you, that was tough. He was a Jazz killer.
2 championships, back-to-back, iconic pictures. And they're just such, nice fans in Utah that it probably stings them that they can't really say what they want to say about MJ.
That one, that's just like, oh my God, you mean there's Jordan video, there isn't Brian Russell's shot, hold, pose. Yeah, there's more of it than that. That's just like, oh my God, okay, we're beating up on Utah too much. Cleveland, more Cleveland. If you're gonna say who did Jordan get the most of, there was a lot of Cleveland. A lot of Cleveland in the playoffs. I mean, you just see Elo and you start to just feel bad for Cleveland.
When you consider the names of all the people in the history of sports for whom I feel bad, if you were to make all of them one person, that person's name would be Craig Elo.
Is that Elo? Okay, so I take it back. I said that the Jazz fans, Cleveland fans had some bad moments with MJ too.
Yeah, he really, really loved playing the Cavs, huh? He got up for the Cavs and Knicks. For some reason, I feel like he just didn't like Craig Elo's face.
I don't think he kept track of how many points he scored on an individual defender. That's a more recent stat. And there's no one on planet Earth happier about that than Craig Elo.
Oh, no. It was just so easy. He just made it look so fluid. I mean, look, the defenders are just falling all over themselves. They got nothing.
How's the dude just holding a basketball with one hand, palming it, and it's not Dr. J, and he got his tongue out? That's crazy.
That to me was always the sound effects when MJ would just stop. It'd be like, and just cut cross direction, up, down. Look at the high level defense we got going on here.
I just feel like, are they trying? Are the Cavs trying to play defense?
Once again, it is Craig Elo, one-on-one, manned up with Michael Jordan. Why did Lenny Wilkens hate Craig Elo so much? I think that at some point we're going to have to look back on this and find out what it is Craig Elo did to Lenny Wilkens. There's something that has to have happened there. Because about the worst thing you can do to a person is say, I'm just going to put you one-on-one with Jordan. Let's see what happens.
He was just absolutely coming into his own, just starting to flourish.
Don't you miss this all-around game? Does anyone else miss it? I do. This was when there was a mid-range and it was fun. Like, you beat a defender on purpose and you score.
See, I watch Mike because that's why I want to perfect the mid-range from watching this.
The MJ right now in this video could play for the next 15 years in the NBA. Just flawless, efficient.
Dominating on the boxes and elbows, turning over both shoulders, post game, face game, do it off the catch, do it off the action, do it off the offensive rebounds.
People think the 63 in Boston Garden was a career high. Wrong, no.
Look at that. No stopping, foul, and one. Give me those points. How many is that?
People think there was some other playoff game against the Suns where he had a couple of 50s and he had some 50s in the playoffs against Cleveland. Nope.
67 and hold on, I gotta rewind this. Hold on.
69 points for Cleveland.
MJ scoring 69? Nice.
Dang. 69 and 18 boards.
18 rebounds too? Stop! 69 points, 18 rebounds?
Career high. Who besides Wilt has career highs in points and rebounds? Nobody had that in the 80s or 90s. It's insane.
He scored 69 points, all of them against Craig Elo, and that's not even Craig Elo's worst game against Michael. It's the one no one remembers. Craig Elo says, boy, I wish people would talk more about the night he scored 69 against me. That's Craig Elo's lot in life. Poor Craig Elo.
Jordan owned Cleveland and that building way out there in Richfield. That's what they get for putting that building out there anyway. Putting this awful building, Richfield, Ohio. You got to drive 50 minutes to see Jordan kick the Cavaliers.
69 points. Devin Booker's like, I got you by one though, but it was still cool when it happened because he was doing it with twos, Devin Booker, okay?
2 threes and he scored 69 points? How about that, Warriors?
When you score 40 and your team is scoring 120, they're not all created equal, right? Just understand that. We're not being critical of like scoring 40 is ridiculous regardless, but when your team is only, putting up an average of 97 points, that's next level.
What do you do when you go home after that game and your family asks you, how did it go, Dad? You say, well, I got good news and bad news. The bad news is he scored 69 points against me. The good news is after what happened last year, no one will ever remember.
Jordan. Oh!
Of course. I mean, that's a spectacular move.
Oh, no way. I remember this. Oh, man, that was the coldest move I ever seen up to date right there.
Sometimes I dream that he is me. That's when you start singing stuff like that.
Look at the expression on Phil Jackson's face. He's like, yep.
That was all just for fun. It was showtime in Magic's face.
Michael Jordan just decided, I'm not doing this easy. Like, why do the easy way when I can do the spectacular way?
People always, and then the switch to the other hand. I think the slow motion made this play so next level. But just for me, some reason, I thought MJ had 100 plays that were this athletic or this beautiful.
I don't even think anyone was gonna block him. I think at that point, he was just like, I'm gonna show y'all something you've actually never seen before. It's an anti-gravity move that none of you could pull off. I'm gonna stick my tongue out while I do it to remind you that this is an MJ signature written all over this. And you're gonna be running this back for years to come. And that's exactly what we're doing here.
And everybody said, well, he was just showing off. No, he didn't, because you can see that he sees Sam Perkins, his college teammate. And he knows Sam is 6'10", with arms that go on to 7'8", and he knows Sam can block him. And so he makes the move.
You never see nobody go with one hand, palm the ball, looked like he was about to dunk on the whole Lakers squad. Then he's like, you know what? I'm going to just put it in the other hand and flip it up on the other side. Come on.
Let me tell you something. This was the year I started covering them. I've been in a lot of places that got loud. I've never heard a building make a sound like this building made when that play happened.
I remember something personal. When he made the move, in press row, you're not supposed to scream out. You're not supposed to remark. You're not supposed to show facial expressions. especially back in the day. And we're at Old Chicago Stadium. We're on the floor. I'm sitting next to my dear, dear, dear friend and colleague of many years, David Aldridge. We're both writing for the Washington Post. And I turned and rather than scream, I bit David's arm. I bit his arm. Those were padded suits in the 90s. I bit him. I just bit his shoulder right up here. And Aldridge didn't scream out. He just looked at me and said, "You bit me." I said, "I'm sorry. I didn't want to scream." And he just goes, "You bit me." And then later, he takes the jacket off, and I bit him right through the jacket and the shirt. There was marks on the skin. Very embarrassing. Funny now, very embarrassing. That's what a spectacular move does.
It was his 13th consecutive made field goal at that point. Like I said, he just did that for fun. He didn't need to do all of this extra stuff.
He went on a run and then gonna do this move to end his run. Come on, Mike. Can't nobody duplicate that one. Can't nobody duplicate that one.
See, that's one of those moves that people started to really understand that Michael Jordan could fly.
If you're going to put Michael Jordan in a time capsule, this wasn't his best game, it wasn't his best series, it wasn't his best finals. It was his first championship, but it wasn't his best championship. But that's the signature moment. That's the signature moment because who the hell else could have done that?
Me being a Laker fan, you thought Magic had one more in him. But then Mike was just too much. He was not going to let that go. And it was just like after game one, it was like, it's all his.
He was snatching the crown away from, Magic and Bird. As we knew the next year with the Dream Team, he came in and he says, basically, I'm the captain now. But that was the start of Magic in those finals. And that play just showing I am more than just a scorer. I am style. I am substance. I am the star of this league now.
He was the most talented and best player before he was actually winning championships. That's what made his situation so unique, is that he was considered the GOAT while he was still playing.
I'm telling you, the first three-peat team was better. They were better then primarily because of Jordan. For the second three-peat, Jordan was the best player in the league. For the first three-peat, Jordan was the best player ever. Jordan, for the first three-peat, was the best player in the history of organized sports.
I'll tell you what else you want. Starting on Sunday, April 19th on ESPN, it's The Last Dance, a 10-part documentary created from the hundreds of hours of footage as cameras followed Michael Jordan throughout the season, culminating in his 6th championship. You can watch it exclusively on ESPN and the ESPN app.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.